Hey, how's it going, everybody? In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the new Path of Giants, what kind of value it is, doing the math on what's offered as best we can to try to help people decide if it's worthwhile or not. It is alongside Path of Valor, and you have to make some considerations like the ones we're going to discuss to decide, are you going to do both of these, neither of these, one or the other? How are you going to pick? I think by the end of the video, we'll be able to answer all those questions, give a pretty clear value, explanation of the value that is to be had here, and go from there. Any questions you have at the end, leave those in the comments, but let's dive into it. If you're getting frustrated with empires and puzzles, let me just say that Gemstone Legends probably has the things you're looking for. They have a mercy system that guarantees a legendary hero after a certain amount of pulls, and we're not just talking about a weak legendary hero from a pre-selected list. They have a wish list that you can put any hero in the game on to boost your chances of pulling that specific hero. They take into account player feedback, and many of the changes that have gone live in the game were based on player feedback or were player suggestions to begin with. They're even going to give you a free $50 starter bonus just for downloading from one of the links in the description. If the earlier stuff somehow wasn't enough, you can be a hero in wars even just using rare heroes only. They have tons of events that allow you to earn free 10 pulls and other very usable high value stuff. Gemstone Legends really has a lot going for it, so come check it out if you're curious to see why tens of thousands of people have left Empires and Puzzles to come play. Alright, so most people probably have mixed feelings about this new feature. It kind of feels like they just want everyone's 24 hours. They want you in the game nonstop doing things, and that's something that I want to talk about with regard to this new opportunity, we can call it, to be nice. So let's start by going through the rewards. We're just going to be focusing on what you get above and beyond the free side, because obviously the free is free. Some of these items don't have a clear monetary value, so it's going to be like you get at least this much in addition to other things. We can't put a clear dollar amount on it. Even gems vary in price. The price we're going to use is the Mountain of Gems price, which is kind of like the overarching conversion rate, which is $1 per 100 gems. Okay, so going through this, 100 gems, 10 ether crystals, I believe they're called, yeah. And it is 10 to do a single summon, so keep that in mind. 3 raid flasks, 400k food, 1 golden emblem, some trainer troops and trainer heroes, world energy flasks, 200 gems now, some more trainer heroes, 20 tornadoes, 1 more ether crystal pull. I don't know if you recall, but the odds from that portal is very similar to what it is for 5-star heroes. So you have a tremendous chance of getting a 3-star ether or a 4-star ether of the standard variety. So pretty low chances of getting something good in there, which means a single pull is not very good in my mind. It's also worth a lot less than a hero pull, because a hero can have a big impact on your game. A small piece of a limit break does not really have a big impact on your game. All right, we have an epic Tome of Experience, some raid flasks, some Covenant coins, more trainer heroes. Let's see, another 1.5 million food, 100 emblems, 400 gems, trainer troops, trainer heroes, scrolls of alteration, 3 million food, 500 gems, and alpha ether, 2 golden emblems, 2 more pulls on the ether portal, 2 additional alpha ethers, and this chest, we have no idea what's in it. My experience from the Path of Valor, at least, is that this chest has a decent chance of giving you something like a 4-star ascension item. Typically, it doesn't. You can get up to 2, I believe. These chests are almost always garbage on the Path of Valor side. Again, we don't know what it's going to be like here, but on the Path of Valor side, almost always garbage. I have seen someone get a 4-star Ascension item, but it's like someone sharing that on Reddit when it happens because it's such a small chance. So if we look at the price of this, and then I want to talk about what goes into the challenges themselves, because that's a huge point of consideration. Let's look at the price real quick. It is quite a bit higher. For the Path of Valor, we had a $10 side and a $30 side. Now we have a $20 side and a $50 side. So what's being offered here on the top is basically 900 gems and one pull. So that means if you're buying gems at the 100 per dollar, then you have $11 that you are paying for everything else that you're getting. Is that worth it? The value is there. It just depends on how much of this stuff you want, right? We've come to see that they will sell you as much stuff as you want. There are just endless deals. They're getting bigger. All this kind of stuff is happening. So they have no problem selling this stuff to you. So you can say, yeah, the value is there. This is actually a good value, but do you want to keep spending the money? Because that's something you have to consider as well. There's no supply and demand really, for the most part, because what you're getting is just something that they're making up. It's just a digital piece. That's just the way these games work. My whole point behind that is, do you want to spend the money? Is the question you should ask yourself first. And if the answer is yes for some reason, then you can focus on whether the value is good or not. But that's the order I would do that in, because if you looked at every deal and went, wow, that's a good value compared to the normal cost of gems, well, I think you're falling right into the position they want you to be in, which is buying every available deal. So think about it that way. I got a special new frame here. More of these points, which means you can either skip some of the dailies to get to the better chest or any of the other items along the way. You just get there faster. Or it means if you do everything, you can open more of these chests at the end. Is that worth it? Probably not. For Path of Valor, I've only ever done the cheaper version because I just don't feel the need to open more of those crappy chests or anything like that. So down here, you're getting essentially 2,900 gems. The 2,000 there plus pulls at 300 per, 3 of them, 29. So that means you've got another $21 accounted for. Some of that is distributed across these 2 items down here. And the rest is the picture frame thing and the other items that you're going to get. So one quick thing I want to discuss. So yeah, ultimately, if you're looking at, you have $20 left that you're paying for. You're getting, let's see, 3, 9, 12, 24. So even just in the gems and pulls alone, you're coming out ahead at the conversion ratio we're looking at, and that's not factoring in the food, the golden emblems, the trainers, the trainer troops. So the value is there, similar to Path of Valor. The big difference is, on this side, you're not getting ascension items anymore. This path is all about pushing ether crystals and alpha ethers being the things that you need. You can choose whether or not you want to buy into that. Personally, I've not bought into that. I don't agree that they're going to push this as the new thing that you need to be doing to have the competitive edge. It's got to stop somewhere, and for me, it stopped here. So I'll continue to earn them through whatever free methods are available, but this is the thing you need to do. Path of Valor has a lot broader of an appeal because you're getting ascension items that you can use on heroes. These are now you need 10 of them, and I don't know. It's just, you can argue it either way. I personally feel the way that I feel, which is what I described. And this path is like, hey, how can we push the alpha crystals and alpha ethers even more? Because that's primarily what you're getting here in addition to some other things. It's now twice as expensive. So if you're buying both of these, even on the cheap side, you're spending a consistent $30 per month. That is not insignificant. So keep that in mind as well. Do you feel like the value you're getting there is enough to justify that, et cetera, et cetera? So the other thing that I want to mention here is in regard to the challenges. In addition to doubling the cost, they have also doubled what it takes to complete this. That should not seem insignificant to you, because it is not insignificant. They want your time. They want you to live in the game as much as possible so that you are more tempted, you're more caught up in the leaderboard and who are the heroes that you need and the alpha ethers, and you're facing double limit broken defenses and those are too hard, so you need to double limit break your heroes. All of this kind of feeds into the same goal that they have. So keep that in mind as well. Double the challenges. The challenges are quite a bit more difficult, I would say, as well. For example, complete hard map stage from Season 3, Province 15, without using special skills or loot tickets. It's not impossible, but it's quite a bit harder, I would say, than some of the challenges that we've seen for the Path of Valor. You might feel differently and say, well, it's only one time through versus beating a level on all 5 seasons or something like that. That takes a while as well. That's true, but I would say by and large, greeting a villager, all that kind of stuff, very simple. This is trying to drive you into the more difficult provinces, win a raid with rare heroes. We've never seen that before. That's more extreme. Defeat barbarians. You can see that's the one that I have not completed because it's more difficult. Ice enemies and raids, and just there being 6 challenges. Additionally, you have these weekly challenges. Collect ascension items, collect ascension materials. That was not very hard. Stage quests. It's hard to know if there's going to be more involved quests coming up, like if there's the emblem quest or the ascension item quest. Any of those are going to be are going to make it easier to complete because you're probably doing those anyways, and they can tend to have more stages built into them. If it means you have to play all these like food and iron quests and stuff, which I've done to some degree just out of curiosity for how many it's going to take to complete this, that's, now this is asking for a lot of your time in here. So we looked at the value in terms of the money spent in the items you're getting, but it's really important to think about the time that's being asked of you here, because that is a financial resource as well to some degree. And that, I think, is the most significant one. I am totally on the fence for whether I'm going to even bother with this at all. I have so far today, just kind of as a way of feeling it out. It's also 30 days long, which means you're going to have to do most of this stuff. It's now requiring some summons. You have to get an epic hero, not just do one summon, 2 summons? I forget what the Path of Valor one was. And if we look at the rewards for what you get for completing it for free, is it worth the time? That just depends on how much time you feel like giving to the game. But there's half a pull, tiny bit of food, trainer, couple flasks. Now you're up to 1 ether crystal pull. Titan flasks, 40 emblems. Okay, a couple hundred gems. I think for people who are like really trying to maintain as a free-to-play or very cheap-to-play and don't mind putting the time into the game, by contrast, this is probably a good value. You get an alpha ether, again, just 1, 2 pulls. You don't get the special chest, so it's basically a month-long endeavor for some gems, 1 alpha pull, 1 alpha ether, and a chest that's probably going to be pretty disappointing. So the rewards are quite slim. By comparison, the Path of Valor is significantly easier to complete. You get a few less emblems, a little bit less gems. Oh no, you get more emblems there. Guaranteed ascension item, and again, another one of these chests. So it's pretty comparable, but this is a lot easier to complete. Not only are there fewer challenges, but the challenges are easier. So I think that covers it all. Do I think it's worth it? On the paid side, I don't, because again, what it's having you buy into is the whole alpha ether being the new normal, and that's not something that I'm going to buy into. I still, to this point, have only used a single alpha ether on Shrubbear when it was clear that he would be good for tournaments and wars alike, on offense and defense. Very good value there for 1 They've weakened him, or they had planned to, with the big balance update, but that hasn't happened. So he's still at 4 turns of taunt. So yeah, I don't like the rewards shifting to a different style here. Because again, it's trying to shift the way you play the game, and I think there's some danger in buying into that, because that leads to a whole different avenue of spending that didn't exist until this point. And I just think for most people, that's not the right decision. Again, you have to ultimately decide how you feel. Please let me know in the comments what you guys think. I do really want to know what people think of this. These are my thoughts. I haven't really talked to anybody else about this, so I do want to know if you guys agree, if you disagree, all that kind of stuff. Very, very important dialogue possibility here for, again, another new feature for a kind of newer angle in the game, which is the second limit breaks and alpha ethers. All right, I don't want this to be much longer than it is already. Hopefully that answered all your questions. If you had questions, again, put your thoughts down below, start a conversation, and that's it. Please hit that like button and subscribe to Quick Clicks to show your support for the channel. I really appreciate it. It helps me want to keep going when I see there's good engagement and people are finding value in the videos and demonstrating that by leaving comments, likes, and subscribing and all that kind of stuff. So thank you to everyone who does that. I really do appreciate it, and it doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.